Today's video, we're just going to take a look at my spring care guide for the Dicksonia Antarctica tree ferns. You can see in front of you here. Going to take a look at things like when to cut off old fronds, when to start feeding, as well as watering. Just go over general care guides to help you get the best growth possible out of these fantastic looking tropical style, jungle style plants. The Dicksonia Antarctica tree ferns are typically native to the gullies and sort of rainforest areas of Tasmania, and as such we want to try and replicate that growing environment the best we can. If you're experienced or new to growing tree ferns, you've probably heard water, water, water. Really one of the main keys with these sorts of plants. Typically in their growing environment, they average around 5 times more rainfall than we would find in the UK. So our battle is really to try and keep these as moist as possible at all times. Now, when I first got into tree ferns, of course, the most common advice you'll see is to water, water, water. And as you can see here, I typically water into the crown for around about 30 seconds to a minute, as well as soaking the entire trunk as we go down here. And I will do this at least now once to twice a day as we come into the kind of spring and summer months. But of course, it is not all about water. There are other things we can do, such as pruning and feeding, and of course, this is also important when it comes into the growing season. Now this advice would be the same if you're growing in pots. The only thing to bear in mind with a pot is that it will typically dry out the plant quicker, and this is kind of synonymous for sort of any plants in pots. Now I do typically water all throughout the year, even in winter, but generally I won't water if there is a risk of frost, and I've just found this method to help really keep the plants hydrated and moist throughout the year. Now, it is certainly important to keep in mind that things like wind, as well as kind of direct exposure to the sun, will dry out your tree ferns quicker. But now we have looked at the watering side, so certainly if you haven't started watering yet, I'd absolutely get on to that. Next, we're going to take a look at the feed side. So what I'm using here is your HSK tree fern feed. Now I have also used the Vitax product as well. Now when it comes to tree ferns, you may be thinking, well, why do we need to kind of feed these? And the main reason is typically in nature, the kind of expelled leaves from above, as these would be a mid-level plant, would fall into the crown, in turn break down and giving the plant nutrients. Now typically when we are growing these in the UK, for the most part, many people don't have these under cover of large trees, but if you do, again, it is okay to let that fall into it. But once again, if there is no additional nutrients going into the crown of the tree fern, this is where it is very helpful to add that. Now tree ferns typically will provide sort of 3 years growth, up to 3 years in the crown, so the top of your tree fern. We'll just come over and take a look here at some of the new fronds on one of my 2-foots. Now what we are doing is we're helping to maximize the new fronds each year. Now, of course, where we may see sort of smaller fronds and things like that is if the tree fern itself has not gotten the adequate nutrients throughout the year, the fronds typically can get smaller and smaller, and once again, just kind of deteriorate the tree fern's health overall. Now, alongside feeding the tree fern, the HSK feeds and Vitax feeds, it is also important to think about the soil and what kind of material that the plant is planted in. Now, if you are planting it in a pot, if you are able to grow it in the ground, that will be the best for the plant. But it is always good to use an enriched layer of soil, things like that, to really give it a boost, as once the tree fern puts its roots into the ground, it will be looking to pull nutrients from the ground as well. Now, you also may have heard of crowns narrowing, so the crown of the tree fern, the top of it, getting smaller and smaller each year. And once again, usually it will be down to lack of water. Nutrients on that side are probably secondary. But with that said, of course, what we are trying to do with the nutrients is just provide that little extra boost to help it grow. Now, when it does come to providing the nutrients, I will typically use the HSK feed or something like that around sort of every 7 to 10 days during the growing season, all the way up until around September. Of course, if we are starting to get cold nights, I don't want to be encouraging the tree fern to grow. And alternatively, I don't want to start too early in the year, so perhaps as early as maybe April, depending on your frosts. Again, as what can happen if the new fronds that are coming out get sort of frosted off, they can turn black and essentially stop growing. Now you may be thinking, I've heard other reasons why crowns get smaller, and you would be also correct in this sense. There is other reasons that this can occur, such as pruning and cutting too close to the crown and not letting the fronds droop down first before removing them, which leads us on into our sort of pruning side of things. Now, typically, Dicksonia Antarctica tree ferns will stay green, I find, down to about the kind of -4, -5s. Now, we did have a -7 this winter, and as you can see, the more exposed tree ferns have sort of browned off on the top of the fronds, as you can just see here. If I just zoom in slightly, and you can see they are holding some green, but we are getting that kind of brown, essentially where it has gotten caught by the frost. Now, as it is at present, I do understand most people may look at this and think, well, I want to kind of tidy this up, remove my fronds, again, getting ready for the new flush. But what I would say when it comes to pruning, I typically will leave the fronds on until they are completely black and frazzled. And at that point, when they are hanging and drooping down, that is when I would think about removing them. Now, with this said, though, in nature, these plants would not have anybody sort of removing fronds or anything like this, of course, and they would typically hang down in what's known as a skirt around the trunk. Now, what this can do to help in the winter protection side of things is to provide that little bit of extra sort of protection around the trunk during winter, and during the summer, this is also going to help boost the moisture around the plant. So it is essentially, you know, if you are able to leave the fronds on, that will be the best for the plant. But I do understand a lot of people will like to kind of tidy them up in the springs. So my recommendation on this is wait until the new crosiers are fully out and sort of flushed before removing any old fronds. Now, of course, if your fronds are still green, there is absolutely no need to remove these, as these are still providing benefit and energy for the plant. So you can just see this one in here, tucked up underneath our red robin tree above, stayed completely green this winter. You can see one brown frond, and that was one that actually came out very, very late in the year and got caught by the frost, which was to be expected. But just looking out over here, you can see next to it, this one's slightly brown, while this is green, and that does come from your overhead protection. So once again, planting these plants in an environment where they may have some overhead protection, of course, is always beneficial, but I do understand, of course, we all don't have that option, particularly maybe if you're like a new build property or something like that. You know, there may not be really any kind of overhead cover for you, which again, in that instance, you know, it's not to say that you can't grow tree ferns, but it is to say that you may have more winter damage suffering basically on the fronds, you know, while others underneath cover would not on that side. And to show you an example here of a frond that I would be prepared to cut, you can just see this very brown one just sat on the side here. This potentially would be something that I would remove. Now you can see up here where the frond is kind of bent and snapped. Unfortunately, the more fronds that we have that stick up in the middle here, like this, really, ideally, you want this to bend out, and if we can, leave the fronds on to do that, the weight of the frond pulling it down, that is the most ideal. Now, where the crown can narrow from here is essentially the more and more fronds that are cut in the middle, the less growth that it has and room to push out the new fronds. Again, what that can do is cause the narrowing of the crown alongside kind of the lack of water as well. So just bear in mind, when you are trimming your fronds, try and leave at least sort of 4 to 6 inches, and ideally, if you can wait till they are hanging down before you do that, that would be the best method there for you. Now, perhaps like myself, you may have received a new tree fern this year that may have already had cut fronds such as these, or perhaps, as you can see, such as these here. Now, with that said, you know, there's not much we can do at the moment here with those. We're going to leave them as they are. Now, as the new fronds flush each year, we're going to try and use that method to bend down the fronds again, so that we can keep that crown nice and open. Now, if you have picked up a new tree fern this year, love to hear what you've picked up in the comments, or you're thinking about picking one up. Certainly put it down in the comment section below. Of course, hopefully this has been helpful. The friends of the channel will be in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.